go right to questions.
All right, folks, we'll open up front row left. Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
I need to ask you about the running back situation. You lose Mayan. Do you have any sense of how serious it is? How concerned are you about that position right now?
I don't think that hopefully these are going to be, some things that we can overcome here in a short period of time. Great to see our depth show up. We'll have to see, but it didn't look like, based on what we saw here in the locker room, that it was going to be something that was going to be really long term. So we'll see how he feels overnight, and then hoping to get Trey back for next week. And then Cam, yeah. Where do we start with that? This is somebody who's overcome 4 ACL surgeries. So that's 9 months recovery times 4. So that's a long time to be in recovery, not being able to do something that you love. And when it happened the last time, there's just a lot of questions on whether he wanted to do it. And he never batted an eye. He said, "This is what I want to do." He put his faith in God and felt like this was his journey. And what happened today in the stadium was magical. And that's what college football means to a lot of people. Not to everybody, but to a lot of people. And that's one of the reasons why college football is special. It's one of the reasons why you coach, is to see something like that happen. And hopefully there's somebody out there that's going through tough times that can see that as a motivation to overcome, because it's one thing to see that moment right there, but it's all the morning workouts he had with Adam Stewart. It's all the, mornings waking up on crutches. It's, the disappointment, because that's not what you picture when you graduate high school and you sign with Ohio State is something like this. But there was something special that went on in the field there, and you could see it with our team. And I'm just really happy for him, but just really selfishly proud to be part of a moment like that, to see someone overcome such great obstacles in life. I just can't say enough about it, because there'll be great wins and there'll be great accomplishments here at Ohio State, but what he's overcome is one of the great accomplishments, and it's not something that people will see, but at least they were able to be a part of that right there. And those who were in the stadium were able to be a part of it, because that's as special as I've been around.
Over to the right, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
When Cam went into that game, was there a specific emphasis on trying to maybe get him a touchdown? Were you thinking about that?
Well, Cam, tweaked him, his lower extremity again in preseason. And so he was kind of in a process of getting back on the field, and we weren't sure when that was going to be. And we never knew when the time was going to be that he was going to actually go back in the game and play. It was the moment was right. We still had the starters in the game after, we muffed the punt and they scored, and we were going to take the starters out. It didn't happen that way. We decided to keep the starters in, so that had to happen. And then Marvin caught that pass, and we felt like, okay, now it's time to take Marvin out. Just probably too much risk at this point with Marvin. And that's when Hart said, well, I think it's Cam Babb's time. And so we called one play. That was a swing to Xavier. And, if it didn't work out that way, it was going to come back to Cam. We got the ball into the red zone. There was, I think, an injury on the play. And CJ came up to me and he said, "What do you think about trying to get Cam a touchdown right here?" And I said, I think it's right. And we called it, and it worked out that way. So, again, pretty neat.
Over to the to the left, Cam.
Ryan, when you lose Mayan, you've already had Travion out for a little while. Dallin came in and has played. When he's come in, he's played really well this year for you guys. You've been able to move Xavier back there. How confident are you in Dallin that if Travion can't play and Mayan can't play going forward, that he can take the load? And do you expect Xavier to still get more carries in the backfield as well?
Yeah, I think both those guys showed that they can do a good job. I think it's pretty remarkable that we have that many guys who are capable. But whether it's Trey, Mayan, or Chip, we're hoping to get all these guys back here as soon as we can. It's been frustrating, obviously, not having a full strength room there. But I guess the positive spin on that is the depth is shown, and we've been able to keep that going. But But yeah, I think Dallin had some really nice runs today. And the number one job of running backs is take care of the football. It's the number one job. And the rest of it takes care of itself. And I thought he got into a rhythm. I thought he had a nice run early on. I think he had the first touchdown run and bounced that one. Did a nice job with the vision on that. And overall ran hard. Even a couple of those runs there in the fourth quarter, I thought he finished the runs. If it was a 3-yard run, he was finishing at 6. I think he's got good feet, good vision. He's a really good young player.
Over to the right, Austin Ward, Rivals.
Ryan, I know you've been hoping or looking forward to maybe a game that felt more normal. Did this do that for you? And when a team handles 40-point favorites should win that easily, theoretically. When they take that seriously, is that another mark of toughness in your mind?
I think so. And like you said, I do it. That felt more like a normal game other than the short yardages again that I was ready to bang my head against the wall. But other than that, yeah, I felt like it was more normal. And it was great to get a special teams big play on the blocked punt. I think that was great. And I just thought we had a good rhythm in the game. We kept playing. That felt more normal.
When you say you want to bang your head against the wall, what do you think is going on there? And is there just something in your mind? It looks like the play action down there can sometimes work. Are you just trying to prove a point when you keep doing it over and over? What's the...
Yeah, probably being stubborn there. Yeah, probably. But still, I still think we need to get better movement, and we need to run harder, and we need to get the first down. And I think we had one third down that we split for. It might have been a touchdown to mine. That was good, but still not good enough.
Over to the left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Ryan, we saw DeJuan Jones, Denzel Burke, Chip Trainum. None of those guys played today. Are
Right.
you expecting those guys to be good for next week?
Yeah, I am. And we'll kind of see tomorrow how it all goes, but it's this time of year, so guys are going to be banged up. It's just the way it goes. But and there were a lot of guys who played banged up today, a lot. These guys just didn't feel like they were ready to go play, and certainly we're not going to put them in a game if they don't feel like they can play. But we're looking hopefully to get a full week of work out of them and see them play against Maryland.
Over to the right, Bill Landis, Rivals.
Ryan, what did you think of Xavier's long touchdown run? Both his effort as he's zigzagging across the field, but then also the blocking he got downfield on that play.
I didn't see it other than on the jumbo. I saw Julian, I think Marvin, hustling downfield and making some great blocks. I can't wait to see it on film. I heard the sideline going crazy. The initial thing that I saw was they stemmed the front, and it's a play that we had worked on pretty hard, and I thought we logged the end really well. We got around that quickly, and then I thought that the tackle did a really good job of getting up to the backer, and then the second puller, it was 3 for 3 right there. And then Xavier slipped through, and then the rest was I was kind of in the back there, and I thought at some point he was going to go down. He just kept squirting out. So a lot of great effort on the play. Great to see Xavier get a run like that. You can see what a weapon he is. He's made some big plays for us this year. So happy for him, and he's very unselfish. When we felt like maybe he would have to play a little running back in this game. He spent a lot of time talking about protection, some of the run game, and because he's been such a good special teams player, he's got a lot of versatility, and you can see that in his game.
Over to the left, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, there's already a ton on CJ's plate as is, but when you're not really sure if you've got running backs healthy and your passing game has the week it does last week, just how impressed are you with the week he had this week, and how much of an emphasis on it, and not necessarily be perfect, but kind of lift things up when you have situations like this?
Yeah, he's the leader of our offense. There's no question about it. And when your leader is just into it and pushing the guys and understands how important balance is in your offense, that's important. And there was a little bit of an edge to the offense this week. I think that was all week in practice, and we got to keep that going. It's the only way we're going to reach our goals here. But I thought he threw some nice balls. I thought the double move by Marv was really nice route, and he put that right on the money. We did have one drop that could have been an explosive play. I thought that was a good throw. He kind of up and downed it because he saw the backside corner. Threw a nice ball to Cade on the seam route. Overall, I thought he was really on point today.
Over to the right, Clay Hall, WSYX.
You mentioned the punt block, Coach Lathan Ransom. What
Yep.
reaction to the day he had?
Yeah, was all over the place, and did a really good job with Parker Fleming on that adjustment. That was something that was a little bit of an adjustment based on what they were doing, and he was able to put that on the field. And I think that's a sign of a mature player that you can talk about it on the sideline, make an adjustment, and then go put it on the field in a game like that, a competitive excellence. We've worked hard on that. We've worked hard on the tracks of blocking punts, And there's an art to that. You know, you can be out of control and run into the punter, which will be a 15-yard penalty, which certainly keeps coaches up at night. But he did it really well, got his hands right to the ball. You know, a lot of times what you want to do is, you start swatting at the balls. He put his hands right on it, and really well executed. Great to see him playing so well across the board. I know he's, I think, a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award, and now to see him make a play like that kind of flipped the game for us, I felt like, in the second half.
Got time for a few more folks. Over to the left, Doug Lesmerises, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, when did you know DeJuan Jones might not be able to go today, and how did you think Josh Fryer did starting for him?
Yeah, we were hoping to get DeJuan out there. He was out there in pregame. It was a game-time decision. He was close, just didn't feel like he could do it, and it's a tough call. These are tough decisions, and but we also, I think, part of the decision, we knew we had Josh, and Josh had been playing well as the extra tight end. And then I had a good week of practice. So, we had confidence in Josh to put him in the game. I'll have to see the film. I don't think it was perfect, but I feel like he played well. We didn't really, when you don't notice a tackle, that's usually pretty good. But have to watch the film and see. But a couple times he looked like he was doing a pretty good job in protection.
Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, of 11 on both sides, in some ways is running back the easiest to plug and play in terms of putting a new guy in there versus maybe a lineman, obviously quarterback.
Yeah.
Running backs.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it just depends on your skill set. It's hard to fit the right person in there. And the thing for Xavier came in and has played so many different positions. He played running back for a whole spring, maybe even more than that. So he had a background in that. To say could you put Julian Fleming and play running back? No, you just can't do that. You couldn't do that with Marvin Harrison. I guess maybe a Mecca because he's a little bit built like that, but it's hard to find the right skill set to do something like that. And I think that's what makes Xavier a weapon for us. And happy to see him make those plays.
More backups when you have 2 or 3 or 4 guys. The next guy up, in some ways, is easier than.
I don't know. Maybe other guys have made it look that way, but I don't think that's the case. I guess as a running back, you can run for what they block for, but then you saw them make some guys miss and make bigger plays. And I think Dallin more on contact, and I thought Xavier at the second level. Yeah.
Over here, Tim May on 3, Letterman Row.
Yeah, Ryan, I just want to get your reaction. Number one, in Mecca, it looked like it might have been a head bump situation. Is that accurate? I mean,
I don't know. I'll have to go see. But once we get sometimes late in those fourth quarters, we try to be careful. Yeah.
And obviously Hancock played most of the day today.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you see out of him, and were you impressed by that? And number 3, Xavier Johnson. How much work does he get at running back during the week?
Yeah, not much. We'll give him tracks every now and again. But he has a background of that. Tony worked with him closer to the game here a bunch. They met extra to make sure that he was ready and everything. Early on in the week, it was just a little package. By the end, it was the whole thing. So, again, hats off to him. Then you saw Mitch doing a little bit of that as well back there, and so that was good. And your other question was about Jordan. Yeah, Jordan in the secondary. I thought Cam Brown flashed at times. I know they caught the fade on him early, but it didn't bother him. He kept playing and competing. I thought that was great to see. Got his hands on some balls, and good to see Jordan out there competing. I don't know what he'll grade out, but you notice him in practice. You notice his competitiveness, and he has great instincts for the game.
And final question, gentlemen from our armed forces, thank you for what you do. You get the last question of the day.
Thank you very much. Avon Santiago, Ohio National Guard.
Thank you, brother.
You saw a lot of festivities today, from the soldier running out with the flag to the flag ceremony to everything else that happened with the enlistment on the field. When you see all the soldiers and airmen in the stands on Military Appreciation Day, what goes through your mind as a coach on the field?
Well, first off, it makes you realize that this isn't as important as that, and it puts everything in perspective. You're talking about people who are putting their lives on the line for the country so that we can have an opportunity to do something like this on a day like today. And I know we don't take that for granted. We actually, every Wednesday, we have some folks come over to the facility after practice, and our guys get to thank them for their service. And I think it gives them a little perspective too, that sometimes it feels like what we're doing here is the most important thing in the world, but it's not. It's not. And we have so much appreciation for all those who give the ultimate sacrifice. And there's nothing more unselfish than that. And when you're trying to build a great team, it's a great message and a great example of what it means to give to the greater good of somebody else is what our military does, and we have so much appreciation for what you all do. So thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Coach. All right, at the very back, yep. Okay, folks, we're going to send Lathan Ransom and Jack Sawyer to tables in the back. And we've got, yes, sir. And we've got Cam Babb and CJ Stroud up here at the main podium. We'll open it up here with Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
CJ, was there any chance that ball wasn't going to Cam on that touchdown?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to give all glory and praise my Lord and Savior, well, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Definitely blessed to have another opportunity to go out there in the shoe. Super amazing outcome. Just really happy. But, yeah, I wanted that to happen a lot. I mean, really bad. So it was amazing to get my boy the ball.
Kim, obviously, there's been a lot that's gone into that moment for you. How do you even begin to characterize that moment for you and what it meant?
I mean, yeah, I don't really know if words can kind of describe it, but if I had to say a word, man, just thankful. Just thankfulness for, first and foremost, Jesus Christ, man, and who he is to me. He's my rock, my Lord, my Savior. So, but also thankful for my teammates and CJ. I was telling guys earlier, I meant to send it to CJ, but there was a pass that he threw like freshman year to me at practice during camp. And he's kind of been, ever since he got on campus, really, he's been there and kind of held me up when I felt like I couldn't go on. So he's a great football player, love him as a football player, but I love him as just a brother. And I see him just as a young man that's trying to follow Christ. And so just the fact that he has my back in the moments that he has, I'm just thankful, man. So.
Yeah, over to the left, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Well, he was there. Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Cam, when you catch it and you kind of drop to your knees after you had a moment, what are you thinking? What's going through your head in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the past 5 years that's kind of been what's been on a dream of mine is whenever I catch a touchdown, whenever that moment is, to get on my knees and give praise to him, to Jesus Christ, because that's the only hope that I truly have. I love football. I love what it can do for so many people. But I just know there's a world with a whole bunch of stuff going on, and so many people need hope. And so if I could give and shine the light that Jesus has given me and give that to others, I think that's my responsibility as a son of God, a son of Jesus. So that moment has kind of been in my mind for the past 5 years, though. So.
Over here to the right, Clay Hall, WSYX.
Cam, congratulations. I did run into your dad, and he literally was speechless. What does it mean to have your family here, both sides, and just they've been back with you every we've all done stories on you, and I think everybody's kind of happy as heck for you.
Yeah, I would say I'm just thankful, again, to have family that supported me in times when, I just felt like I couldn't keep going, they would always speak life into me, and especially my pops. Started playing football because of him, and he's always been there, and he's always been the main person that believes I'm the best receiver in the world, and so having him behind me means so much, and my mom and my whole family and teammates. I couldn't be more thankful just to have as many people as I do around me, because it's not just about me, it's about everybody else as well. So.
Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Cam, you could have walked away at any moment through this journey, and no one would have held it against you. Mm-hmm. What kept you coming back? Was it football? Was it faith? Was it a merge of the two? Yeah. And what were you trying to accomplish?
Yeah. I would say, I love football, but mostly faith. Mostly, again, knowing that when I, truly surrendered my life to Jesus, and He showed me His love and who He is. I just wanted to share that with the world, and we have such a big platform here at Ohio State. I just thought, if it doesn't work out, then Jesus is still good. He's still King. He's still Lord. He's still my Savior. It doesn't really matter. But if it works out in a way that I think it can, then, like I said, there's so many people that I can turn to him, and I think there's a lot of sadness and stuff going on in the world, and I just wanted to be able to tell people about what Jesus has done in my life, and just even for my teammates, just I know they go through things just like me, so if I could just help them out as well, that was it too.
Go ahead.
And sort of behind the scenes, you thought you had a role to play, not just on the field, but as sort of the guy in some of your studies and that type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things, and we got so many people that are behind the scenes. Like, I wouldn't be here without Adam Stewart, a.k.a. Stewie. I wouldn't be here without him and the whole training staff, and they've kept me going as well. So you see me because all the work that he's put in with me the past 5 years as well. So
Over to the right, Stephen Kishbaugh, the Lantern.
CJ and Cam, you guys describe yourselves as men of faith, and for Cam and CJ, your paths have been a little different. How do you guys manage to just keep up in your faith in Christ, and how just while managing a busy schedule of being an Ohio State student athlete?
I'll go ahead. Yeah, man, it's definitely tough. Even coming in early, like I was probably 18 years old. I think it was the end of 2019, going to 2020. I still kind of knew about my faith. I grew up in the church, and I remember just being, it was probably like my second day on campus, and this light-skinned dude come up to me, curly hair. I'm like, "Oh, what's up, bro?" He like, "Hey, man, you got a church?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't got no church yet." He was like, "Hey, come with me on Sunday." That same Sunday, I went to church, found where we went to Hope City with Pastor Brian Reed, where he does community help on campus as well. So that's kind of like when it got me going when I got to Columbus, and that made me feel like, man, I really have a brother in Bab. So, but other than that, man, it's tough being consistent as well. Just because you have, of course, school, then you got ball, and then you have family. You have so many things that kind of pull you away from it. But when you have, I mean, it could be a little bit of time. It could be in the morning when you just wake up, getting on your hands and knees praying or reading your word. It's little steps that even Bab helps me with. Like, we have a Bible study that we do, and I have one back home through the TTGOG and Ball by Faith Foundation through my uncle back home, where I tap in every Thursday on a Zoom, and we do a Bible study. So I would say people around me have helped me become way more consistent, and I think that's the biggest challenge, though, is being consistent with your time.
Now over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, the Athletic.
CJ, we saw the celebration for Cam when he scored that touchdown. I mean, it was on the sidelines well until the next drive. Can you put into words what he means to this team and this program?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know it was probably the most, like, I didn't want to mess it up. Like, I was nervous. I didn't want to. I seen the coverage that we got. I seen the leverage that we had on the corner. And I was like, oh, man, I better not mess this up for my guy. So I'm happy I just made the throw. But honestly, words can't describe. Like, I really honestly, like, I don't care if I threw 8 picks in that game or I didn't play good to the eye's world. It doesn't really matter to the world's eye. It doesn't matter. When you see somebody like Bab who's really, really put himself behind everything that he's been through and helped the team and push Christ, because it's hard when you're on that type of path. People look at you to be perfect, and I definitely think that he's done his best to be that to us. And of course, I'm not perfect. He's not either. But at the end of the day, he strives to get to God every day and to reach people, and he's inspired me. So just having that moment on team. The whole time I'm thinking, like, we're going to get 15. I don't even care, like, because they probably not even going to trip. So I wasn't even mad about it getting the 15. We were definitely just happy for my guy, man, because y'all don't even know, like, the emotions that happen and through fall camp and, like, years where he's already been here. So many people. I'm already knowing the world. His phone's probably going crazy with Chris, JK, all type of people, man, just probably tapping into him, because everybody has really been felt by Bab, from Chase Young to Justin Fields to Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. I bet you all of them are really happy for my guy. So that'll just tell you every year he's left a legacy.
Over to the right, Doug Maurice, Cleveland.com.
Cam, how many people hugged you, do you think, after the touchdown? Were you counting the hugs as they came?
It was a lot. I don't know. I wasn't really counting. I think I hugged some people like 5 times. But I think in a moment like that, just the love, when you feel that and you see so many people around you and just wanting to hug you, again, it just kind of leans back on the brotherhood and what we really have. You know, it's not just a word to us. And the guys, it's the guys in the locker room that make that possible. And then, you know, just the coaches that we have as well. So, man, I'm just thankful for each guy that we have. Even, you know, I know some guys are, you know, put on the spotlight more, but even for the people that aren't seen, just everybody from top to bottom, it's wonderful, and I'm grateful to be at this university, on this team, and I tell people all the time I wouldn't have changed a thing, just because the people make Ohio State what it is, so I'm just thankful to be a part of it.
It looked like, as we watched, it looked like some people maybe were shedding tears with you during that. Were you shedding any tears? How emotional did it get?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I would say probably when I go home and really spend time with the Lord, that's probably when the real tears will come out, because it really hasn't hit me yet. It's kind of all a little blur. It happened really fast. But I just know, man, with Jesus, anything is possible. And whether it didn't happen, whether it didn't work out, he's still worthy of praise. And I just experienced his love so much, and I just truly want to share that with so many different people in the world that are, you know, young, old, whatever it may be, in a different country, whatever it may be, because Jesus deserves it, you know. So I'm just thankful, though.
We're going to go just a couple more for these gentlemen. Dan Hope, 11 Warriors. Oh, Katie Capusta, Spectrum.
CJ, quick question for you. We talked a lot about the run game last week with you wanting to get a little bit more involved. You had a big reaction in the third quarter after that run was called back. You stepped out of bounds just a little bit. What was your emotions there, and what, how much more involved do you want to get in the running game, especially with injuries in that area?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little mad at myself for doing that. Felt like I made a good move by trying to pump the ball, trying to get I think Will Backer, who it was, number 44, trying to just make a miss. I thought I did that. I tried to tightrope the sideline. Honestly, I ain't been out there in a minute, trying to navigate. So I'm kind of getting back used to it, because I feel like I am pretty decent at running the ball, but I got to get used to being out there again. So I definitely think that I'm willing. Like I said before, I'm willing to do anything. I told him before the game, I'm willing to die for this team, because it's so special. Just that moment right there, just shines light to the world of what we have in the Woody and what we have in our building. So I'm willing to fight for my brothers if it means I got to play with one hand, one foot, whatever the case may be. So, and then you see, Mayan struggling through injuries and still going. Trey trying to get back as quick as possible. Dallin did a great job today, of course, with X, and then Mitch as well stepped in. So I think everybody on this team really wants to have each other's back, and we're just hungry for more. So.
Over here to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Hey, Cam, congratulations, Cam, first of all. This was not an ACL injury this year. What was it? How it was, in some ways, was that even harder? Because it seemed like it was more of a week-to-week thing instead of a long-term thing. How hard was getting back from whatever this was?
Yeah, it was so fall camp just did a little, you have surgeries, you got some things moving around and crackling and stuff, so it wasn't nothing crazy. I never had to have surgery, so I haven't had surgery since last year or this past spring, whenever it was. But, just when you don't play football for a while and you try to get back out there, go full speed, you just have some body soreness and stuff like that. So, and just confidence-wise, too, I just wanted to make sure, and Coach Day and Coach Hart, Stu, the whole training staff, they just wanted to make sure before you go out there, we want to make sure that you can put your foot on the ground without having to think too much. And so I'm just grateful for them for, not just, taking care of my health and just making sure that I'm straight before they put me out there. So, yeah.
In the season, were you afraid that time was going to run out on you?
I think for me, I've come all this way, and I know in my head it's just whether it happens or it doesn't, man, my hope isn't in football necessarily, it's in Jesus. But if it's meant to happen, then Jesus he'll make it happen, and he did that. And so, I guess you can say time was running out, but in my head, I kind of think big terms was like, even if it's, a Team North game or whatever game we're playing in and I get a shot, he can make anything shake, or, national championship, whatever game it may be, he can make anything happen. So you hear about all these great stories and all that, and I just kind of, I just know the God that we serve, and so it was all up to him.
And final two questions. We're going to go Dan Hope, 11 Warriors, and then Jeremy Birmingham, Rivals.
Cam, you've obviously been working for this one moment for so long. So now that you've had this moment, what's next? How do you build on this?
I think just kind of what CJ said, we're hungry for more. Just taking it day by day, week by week. And this wasn't, it was a great moment. I'm thankful for it. But we just have so much in vision, and we know we can do. We just have to go out there and put the work in every day. And that's just taking it, like I said, day by day. But we know there's more. And we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing, trusting the Lord and just controlling what we can control and doing what we can do, and relying on each other, staying in tight and allowing things to, the outside things not to affect what's going on within the walls of the Woody and this team. So, we're hungry for more, and we're just excited to kind of continue on this journey together as a family. So.
And Jeremy?
Cam, like the series right before you went in, you were warming up on the field. You could almost see yourself. I mean, I could see you. It looked like you were kind of like talking to yourself, like, get ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
When that happens for you after all this, can you just put into words like what that moment felt like? You said you've been waiting 5 years for this moment, but no one's asked you how that moment felt. So what did it feel like to catch that ball when you did, and just the entire everything that you've went through in that moment?
Yeah, I would say I think Xavier Johnson, after he caught a touchdown against Notre Dame, he said something, and it was about the Lord, just saying, like, even how faithful God is and how faithful he is, but even when I'm not faithful to him, he's always faithful to me. And so just understanding that he gave me the gifts and the talents and everything that I've had. And a lot of people say that, you can't really come back from 4 or 5 surgeries and feel good and do all these things that I've been able to do. And I was just, in my head, I was thinking about him the whole time, and I was thinking about CJ and just the journey he's on, and just all my brothers that I've talked to about Jesus, and just even my family, just allowing the light to shine through me and truly tell them, I told you that it was Jesus Christ. It was just all him, and just being able to represent him and represent them, and just having them on my back and with me, not on my back, but with me throughout all these times. It was just an honor, really, truthfully, because I don't really deserve it. I would say I'm just a young man that's trying to chase Jesus with these guys, and he's kind of held me the whole way. So. Truthfully, I don't even really, like, sometimes, you just kind of stick your hands out there, and like, I don't really remember it in a sense. I don't know if that sometimes you may make a throw and it's kind of, it's normal. Like, we've done it so many times. Like, I've ran that route with CJ and even with Stu, rehabbing so many times, and so it kind of just was all kind of a blur in a sense. A good blur, though, Stu might give him a little challenge. I ain't gonna lie. Stu might give him a little challenge, but he's a great quarterback, though. And I would say, man, just the leader he is, I wouldn't want to have anybody as our leader. And again, he rallies his team together, and just who he is as a person. I'm just honored to be his brother and be alongside of him. So we're thankful to have him as a quarterback, but most importantly as a brother and a person. So.
Great. Cam, CJ, thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. Good job, man. Thanks, man. Good job, CJ.